tells other officers, no, go help the people inside. The FBI has just released a photograph of a person of interest they want to question. Reportedly, this person showed up and was acting suspicious right after the shooting. So a lot to get to here. Let's do that with our law enforcement analyst, Mike Brooks. And where do we begin with this? Let's start with a person of interest, Mike. And that photo that we've seen, this person allegedly shows up after the shooting, acting suspicious. What are you seeing here? What is significant to you? Just his actions?
It could be because, Mike, many times when, as an investigator, and you look at news video of the scene, you take a look at everybody there. How are they acting? Are they speaking to anybody? Do they have, take a look at everything. Tattoos, what the person has on. Then you go back, and now we know, we're seeing a little bit, more of this guy.
There's a shot of the person of interest.
There's a person of interest right there. Okay, so take a look at that picture, then go back and take a look at Wade. And you look at maybe things in his computer, other pictures he has. Does this person possibly show up with him?
And there's Wade, by the way.
And there's Wade.
Wade Michael Page, 40-year-old white male, as we're looking at this. And we're getting some of these other pictures. Let's talk about the reporting that, and there he is singing. Lead singer, a white supremacist punk rock group. Man, you got to be digging in on that. You're talking to any member of that group, right?
Yeah, I used to investigate, hate groups and things like this, if they were involved in any criminality when I was with the FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force, and before that, when I was the hate crimes coordinator for D.C. Police. In fact, I was on a white supremacist hit list at one time, Mike, my partner and I, dealing with one particular group who didn't like the investigation we were doing on them. And there are bands. There are bands that have leanings more towards maybe neo-Nazi, white supremacist groups. And they will show up sometimes at rallies and play for these different groups. So these are also, going back to other investigations, again, walking a fine line between what the First Amendment right is and investigating a group of possible any criminality. They will take a look at this guy, at this group. Did he show up at any of these rallies? These are all things law enforcement is going to look at. But when you're investigating white supremacist groups, these kind of things, they have a right to protest. But when it gets into hate speech and gets into threats, that's when it becomes criminality. And so they can go back and take a look at any cases they may have had open over the recent year or two and see what his affiliation is with any of these white supremacist or hate type groups. Is it a loose affiliation? Is he a member? And you see
he track them. I mean, do they say, here we are, we played at this concert, or we play at this rally, and they'll answer your questions?
Absolutely. I mean, these people, all the time, they're out there and they will talk. They speak to the press sometimes. And we looked at his tattoos. What does his tattoos say? You look at someone who has tattoos. Are there any white supremacist, neo-Nazi kind of tattoos that he has on his body too? We see it very heavily tattooed here. I'd be taking a look at that, because sometimes you can look at the tattoos and say, oh, he might have an affiliation with this particular group, with that particular group, and also this person of interest. Do they have other photographs and a tag number, this kind of thing? What is his affiliation with Wade Michael Page?
Okay, so there are a lot of things to look into. A lot of them on an investigative front here, and it sounds like there's a lot of good leads, a lot of good information coming in. We'll continue to pass along to you. But we've got to talk about this hero in our midst, Lieutenant Brian Murphy. He's shot practically point-blank range 8 or 9 times, and he has the heart, as people are coming to attend to him, say, no, go help the people inside.
I tell you, Mike, when you roll out the door every day to go to work, and you get in your patrol car and you go on a Sunday, you think, nice quiet Sunday, and then you get a call like this, and you listen to the calls in the radio traffic by the law enforcement officer on the scene. He was actually helping one of the victims when Page came out and started shooting him, and he was shot a number of times, Mike. Thank God for his body armor and this kind of thing, but for him to say, hey, I'm okay, go help the other people, because he knew how bad that scene was. And, they have a great mutual aid group there, Mavis, in Wisconsin, and you got a lot of response right away on the police side, on the fire and EMS side. And to me, they're all heroes. But this particular officer, this lieutenant, over 20 years on the job, Mike, I tell you what, he is a true hero.
Yeah, that's a heroic spirit there. All right, Mike, thanks again. We'll get back with you.